Hey there, Chadi Bazzi here, and welcome to another episode of the Top Listing Agent Show. Today we have a special guest, a marketing guru, in my opinion, someone that I've been watching for a very long time, someone who some of my past clients have actually worked with and got incredible results. So the topic of conversation is going to be how to generate more business through your online marketing efforts. So we brought the guru of all gurus on that topic today, Mr. Grant Wise. Welcome to the Top Listing Agent Show, brother.
My man, thank you so much for having me. I'm really honored you guys invited me on.
I appreciate you for taking the time to speak to our audience today and giving them some insights, some strategies, some tools, some resources, etc., to help them generate more business so they could sell more and be able to give more. So some people may be familiar with you. Some people may be, being exposed to you for the first time right now. So can you just introduce yourself real quickly and tell us how awesome you are?
Yeah. Grant Wise, I am been in the industry now for probably 8 or 9 years, helping real estate agents understand how to succeed at a high level using Facebook advertising. And I got started in the business actually owning a brokerage, working with a group of people, left that business, started a training company where we would teach people how to do Facebook ads. And that's probably where things really started to take off for me, which was awesome because I was going into some highs off some really big lows. And just had such a passion helping people understand how they could go out there and generate clients for their business. I mean, there's nothing more just exhilarating than watching somebody's life transform right in front of you, just simply because they now knew how to go out there and generate sales and they could generate revenue. And over the course of a few years, we started to see that technology was one of the greatest burdens to each agent that we were working with, because a lot of what we were doing was highly technical. And so I think it was December of 2016, we started to develop the software with a vision of what I call end-to-end ad automation, meaning I wanted to build something that could just do all this stuff for people so they didn't have to struggle. And so we went to work. It really became, I would say, an identity. I mean, we just really poured everything we had: blood, sweat, tears, money, dreams, sacrifice. I mean, we just made all kinds of sacrifices to make it happen. And then in October, we released the newest version of our software platform, which became an automated advertising platform that would build ads for agents so they could spend less time focused on that and more time focused on generating clients in their business. And today we're growing like crazy. Our business has grown about 400% since October, which is shocking to me. And it's just growing more and more every day. But what we help people do is essentially just build Facebook ads that will allow them to generate leads, help them create remarketing campaigns so they can increase their conversion. There's a lot of video coaching that goes into that, copywriting coaching that goes into that. But I've had the great privilege over the last near decade now to be able to provide training to people all over the world. I've personally coached over 4,000 realtors to achieve success implementing some of the strategies that we teach. I've helped sell billions of dollars of real estate. I've been on every stage in the real estate industry teaching these different types of strategies, and just absolutely grateful to be here and again to have another opportunity to add value.
I love it. What an impressive resume. So the reason I say that is because I want our audience to just drop everything that they're doing and pay attention to this, because not every single day you're going to have an opportunity to speak to someone that's worked with over 4,000 agents, been on all kinds of stages, and helped sell billions of dollars in real estate. So if there's anything underneath the moon and the stars that you need to know about how to grow your business, this is the place to be. So, there's agents out there that are newer in the business, and then there's agents who've been in the business for a couple of years, and agents who've been in the business for a long time. And from what I gather and from what I'm seeing and the people that I'm working with, is there's a lot of people that know they need more online presence, whether it's through paid media or earned media, etc., and just can't get the ball rolling. And I know that's why you created the software. But before we talk about the software and how can that do for you, let's talk about like the importance of why someone needs to be online, especially today.
Yeah, I think it's really just like it's mandatory. If you go out and generate a ton of leads today, What we're seeing a lot of people struggle with is that nobody's answering the phone, responding to the text, opening the emails. And I hear people say nonstop, if I can just get in front of people, I can close them. But if you don't have an online presence today, you're not getting in front of anybody. You're literally something that's going to be skipped over. So we see that buyers and sellers, they want that relationship, and that relationship is being nurtured or curated in a much different way today than it was 2 years ago, 4 years ago, 10 years ago. And that online presence that you have, your social accounts, your I'm not huge into websites, but if you have a website and the way that you put content out there, these types of things are crucial because these are what buyers and sellers are using to build a relationship with you today. If you're seeing that people aren't responsive to your traditional forms of communication, it's really because they're still feeling you out. This is a relationship business. It always has been. And what we're seeing is that if you're not online, people can't build a relationship with you, and your conversion rate on any lead you generate is going to suffer greatly unless you get a referral, which is obviously pretty easy business. But from a online marketing perspective, from a paid perspective, if you are not putting attention into the new way that we're building relationships with people today, you're really going to miss out in a huge way.
And I couldn't agree with you anymore because, one of the things that we do in my listings on demand training with our students is we prospect together, and we can hear both sides of the conversation, et cetera, via Zoom. And twice what happened is, somebody would be on the other end of the line with one of my clients, and they would actually Google them right there and set right there in that moment while they're on the line, or they would look them up on Facebook. And both times happened with the same exact individual, and both times the person on the other end of the line was like, oh, well, I see this and I see that. Well, yeah, come on over. So that could have been a lead that could have gone to someone else, but the online presence is exactly what solidified the entry point into the relationship, the forming of the relationship. So, there are people, would you recommend that people, like, because there's a lot of people that are like very silent online, not barely doing anything online. Would you recommend that they pay a little bit more attention to just creating organic content or jumping right into paid content?
I think it's a really great question. And I think it depends on, how quickly you want results. If you're going to go build a brand on social media, it's going to take you 4 to 6 months of consistently creating content, 3, 4, 5, 6 months of consistently creating content before you'll have a recognized brand presence within your sphere, right? Or your community. And paid allows us to accelerate that, right? If I want to go out there and generate leads, I know that I could walk into literally any market on planet Earth today, and I could put a paid ad in place as long as Facebook allows me to market in that area. And I'm going to get opportunities coming into the business. And that's what a lot of new agents are missing, is opportunity. When you wake up every day and you don't know where your next deal is coming from, you feel terrible. you feel distracted. You feel confused. You feel like you don't have any momentum. And this is why I like going at paid first, because it creates opportunity instantly. I can go today, I could do it live on this show, I could put an ad out, and I know within the next hour or two, I'm going to have leads. And that for me creates opportunity, clarity, momentum, power, because I know exactly where my next deal is going to come from. And I think that's probably why I'm a much greater advocate for paid, as opposed to going the direct organic, going straight to organic. What we see, and you don't even have to look at social media to see this, but most agents have these businesses that are tied directly to the energy that they exert. If you're not calling, you ain't making money. If you're not knocking doors, you ain't making money. If you're not putting out content, you ain't making money. If you aren't doing certain actions, you're not generating revenue. And if you stop, oh goodness, like you're just creating these big gaps in production. Because in real estate, if you stop for a day, your momentum's gone for 3. If you stop for a week, your momentum's gone for a month. And it's this terrible cycle that we see people get in. So I'm an advocate for building the system first that never stops, and then doing the organic stuff that isn't so much relying on your consistency, which seems to be something people struggle with. Not because if you're listening to this, I'm not knocking you like, oh, you're not consistent, you're not disciplined, whatever. But you get busy in real estate, like you're negotiating contracts, showing properties, right now trying to get buyers into homes. Like there's so much going on in the market that it's so easy to wake up and boom, it's bedtime, and you got to start this whole process all over again. And if you didn't create content that day, or you didn't fill up the leads that day, or if you didn't call that day, you didn't make any progress towards generating new revenue in your business. And so I'm a huge advocate for getting the system in place, because systems don't fail, people do. If I have a system that's bringing leads into my business every single day, well, boom, hands washed. I don't have to worry about that anymore. If I have maybe remarketing campaigns in place, video content that's designed to build a relationship with those leads, well, if I got busy today, I can rely on the fact that my CRM, my remarketing campaigns, my video content still worked for me, even though I dropped the ball. And so I think that's probably why I'm a huge advocate for paid, because I mean, I'll be honest, Chadi, there's days I don't feel like creating content, and I don't, because I don't feel like doing it. And I'm not saying that's good, but what I'm saying is that I felt better knowing that even though I didn't get up and create content today, there were ads in place, and still I can look at my ad dashboard and thousands of people were building a relationship with me because they were watching my content. Even though I didn't create any, the machine that I built was still working when I couldn't. And I think that's probably why I'm a much larger advocate for at least going paid first, because then the system's in place. We don't have to do this start-stop nonsense.
I can't agree with you anymore. I mean, you and I are having this conversation right now, and I'm sure you too. I mean, I have ads running right now, and I'm generating leads, and I'm doing something completely different other than lead generation because I have the machine in place. I do believe that. So I think the organic content and the paid content, they go hand in hand, because a lot of times what happens is, you know, we place the ad out there, it creates the opportunity, but before that person raises their hand and gives us their, you know, information to give them a call, they're going to go check out who I am. And if I don't have that organic content already created, then they're just going to move on to the next person. Would you agree with that? Or for the most part?
I think I would, to an extent. You know, the content that I put out manually every day, that organic work that I'm doing, what I love about it is it's my ad content is bringing people into, let's think of this like an ecosystem. It's bringing people into my ecosystem, my Instagram, my Facebook, my page, my email list, my Facebook group. It's bringing people into my world. And then the organic work that I'm doing is allowing me to, in real time, engage with leads in a way that I may not be able to because they didn't answer the email, respond to the text, answer the phone call, right? So they're still coming into the world, into my ecosystem, and I'm still now able to start creating engaging stuff for them, or engaging directly with them. I mean, if the lead comes into my business, we actually send them right to our Instagram or right to our Facebook group so that we can instantly start socially interacting with them. And so I definitely would agree that the organic content really can have an amplified effect to the success of, you know, converting more leads, because you're pulling people into your world and now you're directly engaging with them in a very unique way. There's a lot of psychological reasons why social content, video content works so well, and the things that does to help you build a relationship with somebody. So I would definitely be apt to agree that organic content can amplify the success somebody's having.
Right. So basically the ads open up the relationship, and then your other content is what develops and nurtures that relationship. So that's why, you know, I'm a very big advocate on, like, you know, you could do either or, but when you do both, that's when you really hit the 10X button. Let's go. And let's go fast.
I tell everybody that relationships have taken me farther in business than anything else, but Facebook ads started almost every single one of them. Right?
Absolutely.
So it is definitely a powerful tool.
Absolutely. I love it. You know, one thing I heard you say, the word website, you're like, oh, I don't care about websites. Can you talk a little, because, you know, I get people all the time and they say, okay, well, I need to brand myself and I need to have the logo. And then after I get the logo and the slogan, then I need to build the website. And then after I build the website, then I can get the ads. Can you talk a little bit about that? Like, are they doing it backwards? Is there a right way? Is there a wrong way? What is the better way, in your opinion, after working with 4,000 agents?
Yeah, I think that a lot of people talk about building brand and they have no idea what it means. Yeah. A lot of people say, I got to invest in my brand, and they don't have enough money in their brand bank account. You know, when you go out and you create content, you spend money based on, I'm going to grow my brand, you got to understand that money's not coming back to you for a long time, if ever. You may not ever be able to attract what's happening. And I don't think you need a website, a business card, a logo, and anything. You need sales, man. You need money. Like you need opportunities. You need people to talk to. And that's why every real estate coach I've ever heard in my entire life says, when they start working with somebody, tap into your sphere of influence, call the people you know, let people you know. You need contacts, you need connections, you need sales. Before anything else, go out there and actually get some cash flowing into your business. Don't focus on your your card or your site or any of these things until you got money in your, like I said, your brand bank account. Because typically they're not going to pay you the way that you would expect them to. Nobody ever, if you're not using your site, if you're not running traffic to it, if you're not leveraging the IDX, if you're not doing some of these really strategic and tactical things, you are not going to benefit from having a website. Yes, it is a virtual business card that people may go look at, but at the end of the day, you need opportunity. And a website doesn't typically create that for you unless, again, like I said, you're sending traffic to it. And even sometimes then, you're going to lose, because most websites that real estate agents get are templated knockoffs of somebody that was really successful years ago, and they're not designed to convert. This is why we use landing pages or sales funnels or those different types of things. And so I think the biggest takeaway here is that always remember, if you're going to go out there and market with a website, you're new, try not to think of using a website as much as like a landing page. One page, one purpose. Just remember that little punchy quote, one page, one purpose. If you're going to send somebody to a website, it should have one purpose. And that is to create enough value that you get their contact information. If you send somebody to a website, it's got all these menu options in the bar, it's got all these homes that they can look at. They're never going to opt into it, because what you're doing essentially is having the dinner conversation with them. I'm sure, Chadi, if you're like me, you go home and talk to your spouse, like, hey, what do you want to eat for dinner tonight? I don't know. We live in a society that craves the options they have, but hate making decisions. You send somebody to a website that has all these options on it. What you're doing is you're asking them what they want to have for dinner tonight. They don't know. I don't know. I got all these options. I'm going to leave. Whereas if you send somebody to a website with one purpose, Chadi, if you go to your wife tonight and say, I want to, what do you want to go eat for dinner? She'll probably say, I don't know. But if you say, hey, do you want to go to Ruth's Chris? You're going to get one of two responses. Yes, I do. No, I don't. And that's what we want our marketing funnels to do for us, is create these little decisions that people have to make. Yes or no, not options. Yes or no, not a bunch of options. Yes or no. And so I don't think that websites really, based on all of the people I've ever personally worked with, have ever really been used, other than if you have the IDX integration and you can track what people are looking at. That's powerful. Like, that insight's really good from a conversion standpoint. But as far as converting, I have never advised somebody to send traffic to their website, because I've statistically seen where the cost per lead is on average 10 times what it would be if you sent them to a lead page, a lead form, or like a Facebook lead form, or a landing page. I don't advocate for it. I don't recommend it. And I've worked with people that literally are millionaires now from the strategies that we've taught, or from Facebook ads. And some of them still don't have a website.
Yeah. So I agree with you 100%. I like what you said, just, one purpose. That's it. One purpose. So basically all we need is, I think for the most part, to keep things simple, you just need one landing page and one traffic source and one follow-up system.
It makes it easy. It's how a company like Zillow built a multi-billion-dollar company. Okay. Is, if you'll just write this down, the number one rule of lead generation, you give people what they want, not what they need. Okay. The only thing that we can desire from, or the only thing that we can leverage from an advertising standpoint, is desire or necessity. Does somebody have the desire to move or buy or sell, or do they have the need as a major life event happen? Divorce, bankruptcy, job loss, job gain, moving, whatever. Okay. Those are the only two things that you can leverage: desire and necessity. And so when you go out there and build a landing page, what is the number one thing people want if they're going to buy or sell? Well, Zillow, Trulia, and Realtor.com have shown us that the number one thing they want are properties to view. Secondary, they want their home's value. They want to know how much they're going to get from their property. The number one thing they want to know is, where am I going to go? Even if they're renting, where am I going to go? Where am I moving from this spot that I'm at? And so we teach people, and this ad strategy has worked all over the world. If you will create a Facebook lead form ad that gives people a list of properties they can view if they opt into your campaign, and target the median price point in the market, you'll generate leads, $1, $2, $3 leads all day, every day, no matter what, because you're giving people what they want. Most realtors do that reverse. They give them their brand. I'm a realtor, vanity metrics, I sell houses fast, like all these things that don't matter to the user. We like to go at it from the more scientific, give people what they want, and then start to build a relationship with people that have raised their hand and said, hey, Chadi, here's my name, email, phone number. I want you to follow up with me about buying or selling property. Okay. And so if you can give people one thing that you know they want on a landing page, if I had a billboard, it would not be come and look at my website. It would be go to nwahomeslist.com. And when you went there, you would opt in and I would know that you came from that billboard. That's direct marketing. Okay. And there's a big difference. And so I would agree with you 100%. One strategy to acquire leads, one strategy to convert, so on and so forth, or one follow-up system in and of itself, and you're set without question.
I love it. All right, so I think we're 20 minutes into this conversation, and someone is saying, "Oh my God, I am like literally falling behind. I'm way behind. I gotta get going. Where do I begin?" Because Grant's talking about a landing page, and he's talking about lead formats, and it's like, okay, how do I get into the ads manager? What do I do? Obviously, you have a service that will help them with that. But let's speak to it. Some people can't afford the service. Some people want to learn how to do it themselves. Where could one begin? Where should one begin today? What should one's first step be?
Okay, we teach people a very simple process. And think of what I'm about to describe as a client generation system. That's what we call it. Okay. If you can first generate leads, second, build a brand, which is the relationship you have with those leads, and third, convert. Generate leads, build a brand, convert. If you can do those three things in order, you will never have to worry about making money in real estate. So if this is literally your play-by-play. The first thing I would do is put out a lead generation ad on Facebook. I would use a Facebook lead form. Attention, Northwest Arkansas. I've created a free report of homes priced under $265,000. Some of these homes may even qualify for special financing programs. Click here to download your free report. Okay. That lead form ad targeted to people interested in real estate. Make sure you select the special ad category when you're setting up the ad. Will start to pull leads into some form of CRM. You need to make sure that you have a CRM, even if it's a $25 a month platform. Like you need some tool where you can keep these leads organized. So you'll generate leads from Facebook into your CRM, and you want to put them into text and email automations that are designed to convert them. Okay. Make sure those automations are built out for at least 2, 3, 4, 5 months at minimum. Okay, so now you're getting leads. The next thing you want to do is you want to start to build a relationship, like I said, a brand that allows you to connect with those people. I am a huge proponent of something we call remarketing, or dynamic video remarketing more specifically. It's kind of like when you go to Amazon to buy a product and you decide not to, and then you go right back to social media and that product follows you everywhere you go. You want to do the exact same thing with your brand. You want to follow your prospects all over the internet until they decide to hire you. And you do that through remarketing. So when you create that lead form ad and you get those leads pulling into the CRM, step 2 is creating something Facebook calls a custom audience. And what that allows us to do is it allows us to pile all of those leads coming into a special audience that I can now set up a second, third, and fourth ad to target to. So imagine a lead comes into your business, and now they move right into a custom audience. And the second they go back to Facebook or Instagram, they start seeing your video content. I want you to create 3 videos. Really simple, 3 videos. First video is an introduction. Who are you and why do you love helping people buy or sell? That's it. Pull out your cell phone, right? Vertically, up and down, selfie style, and create a video. My name is Grant Wise. I love helping people buy and sell because X. 60 to 90 seconds. That's it. Your second video is an educational piece of content. What is the number one question you have been asked in the last 90 days about buying or selling property? The number one question. Well, your second video is the answer to that question. Okay, that's it. 60 to 90 seconds, shot with your cell phone. Boom, done. Third piece of content is a testimonial. Somebody that has had success working with you. What's their story? We want them to tell it, because that testimonial is all the validation a lead will need to want to work with you. And if you don't have a testimonial yet, do a third education video, because you're probably in that phase of business where you've got to build up your expertise, your authority status in the market. There's many educational videos you can do so people can start to trust that you know what you're talking about, the better off you're going to be. You want to target those 3 videos to every lead that walks into your business. And that's how you'll set up a remarketing campaign. And then you want to start to move through and optimize so that you can convert. You want to analyze, are my texts getting the right response rates? Are my emails getting the right open and click-through rates? Are my videos getting the right through play, which is a tracking metric that Facebook has, the right through play rates, through play stats? Are these things working like they're designed to? And that's a follow-up system. Okay. And you move through that process, which takes a few weeks. It's not going to happen overnight. But then you start deal hunting, right? What we're looking for after we got leads flowing in, after the brand content's out there, after the follow-up system is in place, is we're looking for markers of predictability, okay? Because that's what's going to help you scale your business. Cost per lead. What's my cost per appointment? What's my cost per contract? And what's my cost per close? Those 4 metrics will show you exactly how to sell $1 million real estate. They'll show you how to sell $100 million real estate if you can identify them. And what we're seeing right now is that the average cost per lead is about $1 to $3. The average cost per appointment ranges from $50 to $150. And the average cost per close is $300 to $500, typically resulting in a transaction where somebody will net a $5,000 check, $10,000 check, $12,000 check, whatever. And once you find those predictability metrics, now you got a formula. If you want to sell 5 homes a month, and you know that every $500 you spend in advertising, you sell a property, well, guess what your marketing budget is? It's 500 times 5, $2,500 a month, and you'll go off and make $20,000, $30,000, $40,000 a month. That's the degree of predictability that you want to have. And that's what a lot of these top producers and top players are rolling with, is the predictability. They know their numbers. They know exactly how to get from point A to point B. They know how to go from selling 100 homes a year to 120 to 160 to 220. Like, they just know how to systematically scale this thing because they know what their data is. They know what their numbers are. So if you want the quick plan, Chadi, there it is, man. I know that I went through a lot right there, but that's how I would go out and sell $1 million of real estate in the next 90 days.
I love it, man. I love it. I mean, you're definitely spot on, and you just simplified the process. Like the person that's watching or listening to this that thought it was that difficult, it's really not that difficult. I mean, when you said pull out your cell phone, you didn't say pull out your $1,000 camera or anything like that. This is a $1,000 camera anyways. And it's 60 to 90 second videos. One, hey, tell the world who you are. What do you do? Okay. That's number one. I mean, you do that every time you meet somebody anyways, but now you just do it once and you just put it online, and that goes to work for you as a salesperson that's introducing you to someone. Number two, give them an educational piece. Are you an expert working with buyers? If that's the case, every single question your buyers are asking you. Which one is the most common one? Answer that one. Working with sellers, let it be a seller education piece of content. And number three, hey, you're always posting pictures of people, with the sold sign. Just have a conversation with these people. Let them tell their story. And then, out of 2 or 3 people that tell their story, there's going to be one that's going to be like, oh, wow, I got to get that one out to every single person. And you're done. And chances are, Grant, there's people that have already created those videos and posted them organically. They can just go there and grab those videos and use those videos, right?
I agree 100%. A lot of people have already done this work. And it's just going and grabbing it and organizing it into a more systematic way to like I said, bring leads in, build a relationship with them, and then ultimately convert them.
Love it. All right. So now let's play devil's advocate. Not even devil's advocate. I personally want to know. My company focuses more on the listing side of the business than the buyer side of the business. And, I think mostly anyone who's doing any kind of marketing has cracked the code on how to attract more buyers. What's your take on placing specific ads to target sellers? How's that working?
There's a couple of things you got to pay attention to here. And a couple of things I think Facebook is, if you're running paid ads, is going to start slapping people on the wrist for. So these are really important updates. Traditionally, if you would want to generate a salary, right, you would run like a home value ad. That's information that people want. And those ads still work. Where the red flag is starting to pop up is Facebook is starting to decline ads when you send somebody to a landing page to collect their address. And so you want to turn that more into a 2-step, at least that's what we're seeing right now, is you can turn it into a 2-step opt-in. You collect their name, email, phone number first, then take them to a page where you collect their address, or try to collect their address off of Facebook. Because I think they're eventually going to get to the second, third page and they'll start shutting ads down for collecting private information. Now, the reason Facebook is being so strict is because of HUD. HUD came into Facebook's world 3 years ago, sued them, and got Facebook to make all of these changes that applied to realtors. And so if you're wondering why Facebook is doing this, it's because HUD is looking at them and saying realtors can even unintentionally discriminate based on the information that you're allowing them to target or based on the addresses they're collecting. So you need to make sure that they don't do that. Now, if that's true, then I think there's a lot of big companies that would be in trouble there. So people are like, well, how can Zillow do it? How can Realtor.com? And truly, Facebook's playing a bigger game than Zillow, Trulia, or Realtor.com, right? So they're not going to lose a large chunk of their revenue just because of realtors. So they're going to get stringent, and I think even more so. So I think the home value ads will work. Typically, what you're going to see is a 3, 4, 5x cost per lead. So if I'm getting a lead for $1 to $3 using buyer oriented campaigns, I'm probably going to pay $12, $18, $24, $32, $36 per listing lead. And some people are perfectly fine with that. The hack that we have identified is that statistically speaking, 52% of people that have a home they want to buy have a home to sell. So what we're actually advising our clients to do is to create what we call a homes list campaign, which I gave you in the first, few minutes there. And if my average cost per lead is even $3, and one of every 2 leads is a seller, well, my cost to get a seller lead is $6. It's still better than most people running home value ads. And I'm building up a big monster database in the process, which is one of the most valuable parts of this whole process. And so I'm still an advocate for going after the number one thing that sellers want, which is to know where they're going. They want homes to look at. They want to know that they're going to be able to find a home, especially in this market, at least as we were, creating this podcast interview. And then one of my third favorite strategies is actually an old FSBO cold call trick. So the old FSBO call trick, right, is, hey, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, I love your house on 123 Main Street. I got a buyer. It's actually looking for exactly what you got. Can I come out, preview the property, blah, 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 see if it's good for my buyers. Yep, come on out. Boom, turns into a listing. That was the trick, right? Well, you can actually do the same thing on social media. There's so many buyers out there today, and they're all trying to figure out, like, how in the world can I get into a property? And so what we get the buyers to do is pull out their phones, create a 60 to 90 second video. Who are you, and why are you looking to move? What are you looking to buy? Where are you looking to relocate to? What's your timeline? Okay, well, we take those videos and we target them to sellers in the marketplace, and it's the same type of trick. Mm-hmm. You're using a buyer's story, and you're targeting it to a seller that has a property to sell potentially. Maybe that's FSBO. Maybe it's somebody that's just thinking about selling. And what's happening is sellers are sending messages to the agents. The people that they know are tagging other people like, hey, I know you're thinking about selling your home, and here's a buyer, right? We're putting the buyer out there on display as this, hey, I have a buyer that may want to pay you a ton of money for your home right now. Would you be willing to sell? Type campaigns in it. We used to call this, we still do, it's our fish in a barrel strategy, because when we started doing it 3 or 4 years ago in the previous inventory crisis we had, nothing like today, but in the previous inventory crisis, we would start getting just crazy amounts of sellers reaching out to us. Some people from California all the way to Florida that we worked with built their entire companies using this strategy. They would get sellers that literally just come list me's because they could see that the buyer was real. It was right there. They were hearing their story. And so that's probably my third favorite strategy when it comes to generating sellers. So I would go homes list first, CMA or home value second, and then the buyer strategy third.
Love it, Grant. I want to do this. Okay, I'm thinking to myself, I'm an agent right now, and someone's listening and they're saying, I want to do this. How much money do I need to have set aside? Because I know, like you said earlier, you can place an ad right now. Within a couple of hours, you have leads coming in. But obviously, some of those leads may be good leads, bad leads, future leads, need nurturing, etc. And what I found in my experiences, people, they get into the mindset of like, I can spend $5 a day, $10 a day, $15 a day. I can do that, but they can only do that for a week or 2 or 3 weeks or a month. And then they're out of money before any of their leads get converted. And they say, oh, this stuff doesn't work. You know what I mean? Yeah. And you and I both know it works. So I think it's very important for people to know that when they come into this, look, you may hit the jackpot and your first lead may become a list or a sell. Okay, but the likelihood of that happening is very unlikely, and you need to think in advance. How much money do I need to have set aside, and say to myself, I am going to deplete this marketing budget, knowing that I may have to deplete it before I get my first, contract signed. Do you have a dollar amount based on your experience?
What we advise every single client we work with to do is start at $300 per month. That's $10 a day. And our goal is to help somebody sell $1 million of real estate in 90 days. So we're trying to help them generate at least $30,000 income off that spend. It doesn't happen every time. Some people's cost to acquire a customer is $900. It's 300 times 3. That's $900. It gets all the way up there. But typically those people are earning $5,000, $10,000, $15,000 when they finally cash in. The point is to look at it more long-term. I'm going to spend $300 a month for the first 3 months to get a system in place and to start learning what my numbers look like. Once I identify my cost per lead, cost per appointment, cost per contract, cost per close, then I'm going to commit to reinvesting my revenues back into my marketing budget so I can scale. I can go from $300 a month, $3,000 a month to however much I want to spend. And so looking at it more long-term, you really want to commit to at least $300 a month. 60% of that budget should go towards lead generation campaigns. 40% of that budget should go towards remarketing campaigns. So $180 to lead gen, $120 to remarketing. And if you'll do that and you'll just go all in, treat these leads coming into your business like they're your best friends, because really, ultimately what it is you're growing your sphere of influence, right? That's what a database is. You're getting more attention. And so you want to pour everything you can into these people. Get committed to the process. It's not going to happen overnight. And it didn't matter if it did happen overnight. You're typically not going to get paid on a real estate transaction for 60 to 90 days. If you're the best cold caller on the planet, the best door knocker on the planet, the best Facebook advertiser on the planet, and you did all these actions and day one, you got somebody under contract, you're not going to the closing table for 2 months in most cases, especially right now, based on how the market's working. And so just commit to the process of doing what you need to do to build a system that will go off and make money for you long term. It's a lot of work. It takes a lot of time. It takes a lot of patience. But if you'll do that, if you'll commit to doing that, you're going to get results faster than most people. The average age of a realtor, the average income of a realtor a first year is $8,000. Okay. And then the second year, it's only $16,000. Okay. You could literally go be a garbage person. No diss to the garbage people. Yeah. You could drive a truck and pick up trash cans and you're going to make more money than that. Okay. You got to understand that this is a process. It takes time. That's the nature of the industry. And if you're sitting there thinking, well, I can't budget that much money for 3 months, I would encourage you to seek out maybe working as a buyer agent on a team or getting a part of somebody's ecosystem that is producing at a high level. And I think people dismiss that. And this is maybe even a controversial opinion, but I think a lot of agents should be forced to start that way. Not necessarily all, but I know I'll probably get some flack for that. But look, what you're missing when you get started is opportunities and at-bats, because you need to get into the industry. You need to get your feet wet. I shave my head every week, okay? And this is going to be a little silly. I shave my head every week. I do it by myself. But if I wanted to go to get a haircut, I'd have to walk into somebody's establishment. And the woman cutting my hair would have had to have gone to college for 1.5 years to have a license to shave my head bald. Yet a realtor can get a license in 2 weeks. So let's have some perspective here. Okay.
Exactly. It's crazy.
You need to get in and get your feet wet. You need to write contracts and go through the showings and just go through the process so that you can learn the business. Because what most people are missing are those opportunities and at-bats. And I promise you, you join a team, especially a top producing one, you'll end up making far more than $8,000 your first year, or 16, or sometimes even 50 or 60 grand. And after you learn the business for a couple of years, and then go out and work on your own. And I hope that some of you listen to this, if you're struggling, I hope that advice hits home, because I think that if you're starting a business, which is what you guys are doing, and you don't have a little bit of capital, not a lot, I mean, $1,000 over the course of 3 months isn't a ton of money. If you don't have a little bit of capital to get started, have a serious talk with yourself. But if you can commit to $300 a month over the course of 3 months, typically we see if a person commits to the process, goes all in on those leads, they can put themselves in a position to cash their first check, and then they get the ball rolling. They can start going and really, hitting some big home runs. And for perspective on the analytics, what we like to see is that 100 leads turns into 8 to 12 appointments, turns into 1 to 3 closes, contracts or closes. Okay. So there you have your numbers. If your cost per lead is $3 a lead, well, $180 is going to give you a certain number of leads to work with. And then next month you're going to get more, and next month you're going to get more. And so it just kind of compounds like that. But that's what we've seen analytically. And sorry for the little side rant there about, people's life path, but I think that's something you got to seriously talk to yourself about.
Yeah. So basically, you just need 2 things. Well, I'm going to add a third one. Okay. So number 1 is you need to make a commitment to the process. Okay. That means once you begin on day 1, you're going to give it your all for those 90 days, like your business depends on it. Yes.
Yes.
Good. And number 2, you have to commit, let's just round up the number and say $1,000. Okay. And number 3, I'm going to add this to it because I believe this will also fast forward the results, is you need to have the right skill set. Because if you generate the lead and don't know how to have a conversation with the lead, then what good is that lead?
100%. If you can't close a door, let alone a real estate transaction, you certainly should not be in charge of following up or part of the follow-up process. Go be an ISA on somebody's team. Go commit to making 100 phone calls. I think it's something that people in some cases they don't want to do, or they feel like they're too good to do. When we relaunched our company back in October, when our software was released, I, CEO of the company, jumped back in to taking all sales calls that I could, and we had other people. But I took over 100 calls. I had maybe even 200 calls. Do you have any idea how much insight I got about our company in those 200 calls? Why people wanted it, why they didn't, what problems they had, what they didn't, what emotions they were feeling, what they weren't, where they wanted to go, where they didn't. And when you dive in and you just commit to that process, you're going to learn more than you ever have about what your client wants and what they don't want, and what they're looking for and what they're not looking for, and the emotional side of the business, which is really important in sales. And so I think that it's important to just analyze your strengths, versus your weaknesses, and go all in and commit to the process of becoming a great real estate agent. I think a lot of people got to remember that to become a great agent, you got to be a great marketer, and you got to be a great salesperson.
Yeah.
And third, you get to be a great realtor only if you can do the first 2 well. So I certainly would commit to that.
Absolutely. So Grant, I give up, man. I give up. I don't want to learn anything new, man. I want to commit to this. I want to do this. How can I get you to do this for me? Can we speak? Because there's people that just want to come on, man, let's just get this going. I'm thinking to myself right now, I have one of my clients right now, and I think she's on track to take about 90 listings this year. She'll do over 100 transactions this year by herself. She has a team, but that's her numbers. And she's 100% a phones person, spends 0 money on marketing. And I'm telling her, hey, there's no more time to make more calls. There's no more time to go on more appointments. Leverage. So for her, she's probably listening to this right now and saying, okay, Grant, I'm ready to go. Come on, what do I do? How do they get a hold of you? How do they enter your world to begin with? And if they wanted to work with you, how can they, get a hold of your software or whatever you offer? Can you speak to that person?
Yeah, absolutely. The best place to start is to go to witly.net, WITLY.net. You can get a 14-day free trial, no credit card required. And when you create your account, what's going to happen is we're going to give you immediate access to a marketing coach. Every user on our platform gets a coach and a consultant that will show them strategically what to do, help them understand what videos to create, help them write their ad copy, and just guide them through the marketing process. And once you get that understanding of what your strategy is, what ads you need to put out, what lead gen campaigns, how to do the remarketing, all that kind of stuff, then you get immediate access to our live support team. We do calls every day. We've got live support every day. We've got all types of ways that you can get help. And then you just go through the process of uploading your content to Witly, and then Witly will actually go and build your ads for you. So we've been able to condense the ad building process down from an hour to 2 hours to literally 1 to 2 minutes. I could go build an ad right now on Witly in like 30 seconds. It made it so fast, so easy. It's basically, if you can let's say you upload a video to Dropbox or to Drive, well, you can upload a video to Witly and an ad will get built for you, right? So it's really very, 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 very simple. And I think a lot of the value we're finding is that, yeah, we've removed the technical challenge. We've increased the speed and velocity somebody's able to work. But that coaching that we offer as an add-on bonus for having a Witly account has really become invaluable, because what we found is that most people don't want to think. It's just like you just asked, like, how do I get the easy button? How do I get this thing to go? Most people just need marching orders. They just want to be told what to do. Yeah. And that's what our coaches do. They listen to your goals, dreams, aspirations. They say, here's your marketing plan. Here's step 1 through 5. Go get to work. And it's as simple as that. You create a few videos, you upload them to the platform, and Witly builds your ads for you. And that's the easiest way to get started. And like I said, you can try it absolutely free, no credit card required, if you go to witly.net and start your 14-day free trial.
Spell that one more time, because there's someone that's probably listening to this while they're driving around or whether they're at the gym on the treadmill. Spell that for me one more time.
It's witly.net. witly.net.
Got it. Well, hey guys, check out witly.net. Grant Wise, this has been a very wise conversation. I like that. I appreciate your time. I appreciate your knowledge and your expertise in sharing with every single person that's listening to the podcast. I think we could have spent another couple of hours on this conversation. So maybe we'll do like my buddy Luke did. We'll bring you on again in the near future to do a continued conversation. I appreciate you, brother. Any final words of wisdom to our audience?
And I think that, the thing that I could say is probably the thing that everybody might say. And we don't get rewarded for what we think. We get rewarded for what we do. And a lot of you might be thinking that what I'm saying is good and something that you should do, but you won't be rewarded for that. You're going to be rewarded for the action you take. And I really hope that you got something here today that you can take and implement. I'm not after your money. I'm after your success. I just want you to go out there and build systems that will allow you to create the freedom that I know you're after. And I hope that there's something I said today that will allow you to do that.
I love it. I appreciate you, my brother. Thank you very much.
You too, man.